as I'm sitting here listening to Catalina eloquently talk about that episode, and I'm listening to what Jonathan's saying about simplicity, I'm wondering if not only is it more convenient, is it easier to keep it simple? I'm thinking it can actually compromise your business if you add in a lot of complexity. Like, I don't think it just makes it simpler. I think the complexity makes it harder. I think in some cases it's detrimental to your business to try to be so complex. You got all these moving parts that you don't quite understand, but they look good, on paper. I've got this thing and that thing.
This is the online trainer show, trainer show, trainer show. This is the online trainer show.
We shouldn't have a podcast. But yeah, it was as nice as they were in the process. It was a forgettable experience. I'm sharing with the staff here that I had a dentist's office visit today. For all the online trainer people out there listening, we've also got a clean-shaven Jonathan Goodman, which always bothers me for some reason. It's something about it I don't like. Yet it's very alluring. It's simultaneously very attractive, but also very, 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 very. I don't know. It's disconcerting is the way that I would write that out. He looks too young now. And he generally looks young, but now he looks just too young now. I don't approve. I don't approve. But in any case, Jonathan, since you just arrived onto the podcast scene here, and it looks like you're checking your instruments on the helicopter before launch. He's going through his pre-launch ritual on his helicopter dashboard. I had a dentist visit today, Jonathan, and what I was telling the lovely staff here at the Online Trainer Show was that their journey mapping, getting me into the actual appointment was, for lack of a better term, crappy. It was all over the place. Multiple messages saying conflicting things. But when I went in there, they were lovely people, just lovely dental people who do things with instruments in your mouth, whatever. There's a lot of them. I don't know what they all do, but everybody did something. They all had their role here. And just like our podcast, Jonathan, there was one there to distract me, like you. There was one that had actual information, like Amber. And then there was one person that was really good at what they do, like Keto. So it's like I've been on one podcast already today. I was like, "Oh, you're the Jonathan here." And then the lady was like, "Well, I'm sorry, what? Never mind. Here's a link to download an episode. You'll see what I mean in 20 minutes." But welcome to the show, Jonathan.
I know I logged in. I know I logged in late, but I'm not ready for this yet.
You did.
You look like you got hit by a truck. Like, are you okay? Is this like the Calvin didn't sleep thing? Did you do the whole 360 move again?
No, I'm fine. No, I'm doing good. I'm just not ready for this yet. Some days you're ready for it. Some days you're not. And today is just one of those days.
Just not in tune. He's not in tune with my particular brand of nonsense today.
I need a few minutes.
He's on the verge of asking me to simmer down. I'm pretty sure, Keto. I wouldn't mind if I get.
I believe that I told Carolina in the Slack channel earlier today, not only 30 minutes ago, that I quote don't speak Mexican. I think that
that happened. Yes,
I think that sums up how I'm feeling today.
Yeah. And I didn't contribute at all today to our topic, but I did go back and read. Keto narrated her way through the actual action that she wrote out a full script for what she was in the process of doing. I think she's parentheses watch me contribute. It was like script notes for a movie shoot or something. Insert Keto contributes to topic, and then she's. And I don't remember any. Oh, you did have a contribution, Keto. I did. Yes. I read something. There were words there that seemed to form sentences. That's right. Yeah. Good job, Keto.
I worded. Yep.
I'm proud of the three of you. Proud of all of you. You've done well.
The topic today is basically like, how would this look like if it were easy? How to simplify this? It's kind of like, well, everybody seems to make this online training thing way harder and way more complicated than it actually is, and it seems like it's a way to like productively procrastinate. Was the reality of it. I mean, I think the official title is like how to create, well, what did Amber say? How to create a bare bones setup, how to run an online business when you're tech illiterate, which is like probably a better title than, you know, how would this look like if it were easy? But the reality of it is, like, you kind of got to get paid, deliver your service, and have clients sign legal paperwork. Like, that's it, right? And so if you look at, if you bring everything back to what's called first principles, which I think is just a really important framework if you just Google first principles. If you look up the website Wait But Why he wrote, it's this insanely long blog post series. Like, it could easily have been a full novel about Elon Musk, but it's basically called The Chef and the Cook, and it's a really good breakdown of first principles. And Jeff Bezos is the same thing. He basically says every decision that we make, we make with the idea that this is day one of Amazon. Like, it doesn't matter what we've done in the past, we're going to make the best decision based off of first principles, based off of breaking down what we're doing. And I think that's very important when looking at anything. You know, imagine you've never done this before. What are the best ways to do it? And who gives a shit if somebody else uses complicated software? Is that the actual best way, or did somebody copy somebody and somebody copied somebody and somebody copied somebody in Purple Monkey Dishwasher, and now you have what you have? And the reality of it is, if you break it down to first principles, it's as simple as, one, you got to get paid. So you got to have a way to accept money. Two, you need to deliver your service, which basically means you need to deliver a program and talk to people somehow.
Right.
And three, you need to have a way to get people to sign a legal document remotely. That's it. So it's actually really simple when you think about it that way. You don't need automations. You probably don't need to use anything except for maybe number 3 with like the liability stuff. You probably don't need to use anything that you're not already using. Like, you need to figure out a way to get paid. Okay, you've probably used PayPal or a credit card at some point in the past.
Right.
Setting up PayPal can be a little bit confusing if you've never used it, but like, not really. I mean, you go to PayPal, they make it pretty easy. Right? You don't need Stripe. You don't need anything else. You're not going to get a better fee somewhere else. And even if you are going to get a better fee somewhere else, it's going to make so little difference when you have 5 clients that are you really looking at saving, 0.02% on your payment processing when you really could get another client? I hope that sandwich is delicious, Carolina. Is that a sandwich?
I didn't have time for lunch.
What kind of sandwich is that?
It's just ham and cheese. That's it.
Fancy.
It looks like
back to basics.
In the shape of the United States almost. I see Maine up there, California. Oh no, that bottom right hand corner that's not like the Gulf.
Let me F that right up, please.
Yeah, give me some Florida down there in the bottom right hand corner, because this is geographically incorrect. Jonathan, may I read what first principles are? Can I read this definition?
Yeah, you can read that. Let me just finish my thought on like, so you got to get paid, so you got to set up PayPal. It's like, go to paypal.com and click set up an account. Right. How to deliver your service, like, you literally need to use Microsoft Excel or like Google Drive, and then text messaging. Right. That's it at the beginning. And then how to have your clients sign liability waivers and paperwork. I mean, the reality of it is, you could have like a legal doc in an email and send it to them and say, send back an email that says, I agree. And that's just as legally binding as if they were to sign it. So, okay, go ahead with first principles. But I hope that cleared up for people just like how simple this could be. Just like how simple Carolina's lunch is. It's white bread and ham and cheese.
And hey, it works. It does the trick.
And it works. I mean, white bread.
It's the least Mexican thing that I've ever heard her talk about eating or witnessed. Like, if there's any antithesis to her cultural identity food-wise, that's right. Ham and cheese on white bread is the exact opposite of everything that's foundational to her existence. You've been converted over, Keto. We're gonna take your taco card away, my friend. It's getting revoked. So Jonathan, a first principle. It says it's a foundational proposition or assumption that stands alone. We cannot deduce first principles from any other proposition or assumption. Aristotle, writing on first principles, said, reasoning by first principles removes the impurity of assumptions and conventions. Man, I like that. Removes the impurity of assumptions.
Yes.
Gosh, I just had that conversation with an OTA student. He was like, well, what if people don't sign up? And I don't know if you... I was like, look, bro, you got to do it. Like, you need to execute to figure out these answers. Like, he was lost in the impurity of assumptions. I'm going to use that on the next student. Like, bro,
That's good.
Don't let those impurity of assumptions get you down. You lost in the sauce, family. You lost in the sauce, man. So
I'll tell you like a story, like the famous Elon Musk story. It's like,
I need a story.
On the greatest scale ever. It's like, dude is literally building rockets to go to outer space.
Right.
Okay. Like,
it doesn't get higher than that.
So of course he went to like companies that manufacture rocket parts, and they
Right.
told him how much these rocket parts cost, and he's like, that seems like a lot for this. And then he just looked into what it would cost to manufacture them themselves and build them themselves, and figured out that it would actually be cheaper to build an entire manufacturing thing and start
Right.
from scratch and build them himself than buy them from this existing company. So now they just build their own rockets.
That's awesome.
That's like, and you know, here's like a prelude. The software that we're building, I don't know if we ever announced that we're building software, but the software or the tech that we're building for you guys is a first principles approach. It is literally a what would this look like if it were easy online training approach. Most of the stuff that's included in software is overblown, way too complicated, doesn't even work that well. Some of it works, but like doesn't even work that well. You definitely don't need it. You certainly don't need it when you start. But you know what? You're paying for all of it. You're paying for all of it in your fees, and you're paying for all of it in your time, because to log in there and figure out what you don't need is often a bigger job than figuring out what you do need. And so we just stripped away all of that. I basically looked at the entire thing and was just like, okay, well, if we're going to build something, it has to be an innovation. It has to be not just a little bit better. It has to change the game. Like, oh, so it's not going to build anything. Like, what's the point? Like, I'm not interested in just improving a little bit on what's already there.
Right.
And what we're looking at building is completely different. Like you will learn a new programming language to use it. I literally invented a code. Right? There's only 7 commands that you can build every single program you ever want to build from scratch.
Man, I love this.
It's cool. It's super cool. Amber had to look at it. She's like, I can't quite envision it, but I like where you're going.
Amber's like, do I have to do anything here? No? It sounds good. I love what you're doing.
Keep at it.
Good for you, bud. Keep going, buddy. You're a winner, John.
But the thing is, when you really understand something, you understand how to simplify it.
Right. Oh man.
Right.
That's
people who don't
that's the topic of our
understand
show.
things. Yeah, people who
That's
don't
the
understand
thought.
things make them more complicated.
Yeah.
It's the famous Mark Twain quote, "Sorry I didn't have more time, or else I would have written you a shorter letter."
Right. Right.
That's how it goes.
Right. That's our show topic right there today. You know, if you really understand something, you know how to simplify it. Man, that's good. I love that. And Amber, you are the GIF
And you
queen.
pay
Congratulations.
you are the GIF queen, and you pay a tax. You literally pay a beginner tax often.
Right.
When you don't have as much of an understanding. You pay a beginner tax by signing up for software you don't need. You pay a beginner tax by sometimes, unfortunately, paying way too much for mentors that may not have the experience or may just be like way overblown for what you need right now. You pay a beginner tax in your time. And as you become more an expert, this is like the really unfair part about how our society and how capitalism works, is that as you have more money, as you become more of an expert, stuff is easier to do and becomes cheaper.
Yeah.
Correct. Absolutely.
And it's not
correct.
really fair, but that's kind of how it works. And so I hope that I can help you, anybody listening here, skip those beginner steps a little bit.
I also want to remind people listening that we have an entire episode that Ren, Amber, and I did in one of those glorious times that Jonathan was gone. Remember, guys, how awesome that was?
It was just
Remember
magic.
the fun we had and how amazing time, like it was incredible. Incredible.
I don't have kids, but I can only expect that that's the magical feeling that I felt watching one of my children come into the world the days that Jonathan was gone. I just wanted to throw that in there. It touched my soul in a way that I don't think I've had my soul touched before. But I'm sorry, Keto, to interrupt. Please continue.
Yes, one of those magical times. We did.
Show me, Ren. Show me on the doll where the man touched your soul.
right here. Touch my soul right here.
Anyway, one of those episodes, we did an entire thing on how to start how to build an entire business with zero money.
Nothing.
And so that ties very much into this bare bones approach, right? Because we talked about a lot of these strategies. So if you have the time, go and look back into, I can't remember the title of it. Amber would be better at that, but or we can probably add it to the show notes.
I'll find out. Yeah, I'll find out what episode number that was. Well, you guys are talking. You guys can keep talking. Ren, you can just take up space. You're good at taking up time and space.
That's exactly what I'm about to do. Don't threaten me with a good time, Jonathan. You know what I'm gonna do with it. But I did want to pose this question, Jonathan, because as I'm sitting here listening
number
to
75.
No, Jonathan, stop it.
Building an online trading business well when you're broke. It's episode number 75.
Oh, that's a good number. I
Perfect.
like 75. That's
20 episodes ago.
That's the golden anniversary, isn't it? 75? Is that what that is? Platinum? I don't know. I don't know how stuff like that works. But in any case, as I'm sitting here listening to Catalina eloquently talk about that episode, and I'm listening to what Jonathan's saying about simplicity, I'm wondering if not only is it more convenient, is it easier to keep it simple? I'm thinking it can actually compromise your business if you add in a lot of complexity. Like, I don't think it just makes it simpler. I think the complexity makes it harder. I think in some cases it's detrimental to your business to try to be so complex. You got all these moving parts that you don't quite understand, but they look good, on paper. I've got this thing and that thing, and I want to say this about PayPal because this comes up a lot, and I know that in Online Trainer Academy Level 2 certification, we suggest a different methodology, something that's convenient so you can take the payment over the phone. It's sort of the methodology of the sale in Online Trainer Level 2, OTA Level 2. But what I can say about PayPal is I've seen so many coaches, and this probably doesn't have a lot of relevance for the show, but again, I'm just taking up time. Just stay with me. We've got at least 10 more minutes before we get on topic, so we can be on topic for 7 minutes.
I feel like we started on topic.
It was too on topic in the beginning. Like I'm uncomfortable with how quickly we got to discussions.
Because I was out of it. It's because I wasn't having it. I wasn't having it. That's why.
Yeah, usually you're the main source of distraction here. So when you're not distracting us, Jonathan, we get dangerously on topic way too quick for my liking. It's premature. I'm a man of a certain age, but I don't like things happening prematurely. So I digress.
If you're a man of a certain age, then things might just not happen.
Right, it may not happen at all. That's a topic for a show.
I want off this ride.
No, you stay right. You sit right down right there, young lady. You asked to come here. You stay here.
All of those things you just said could also have been sexual.
Right.
Oh, God.
Go back and wind what Carolina said and then the three things that Ren said, every single one of those actually continued the sexual conversation.
It's laden with innuendo. What was I about to say? Oh, for me, I enjoyed. It doesn't matter. I enjoyed PayPal. Here's what happened with my experience with PayPal. And everybody avoids it because of the fees. Well, I knew I was going to pay fees anyway. But for me, being new into online space, and I was doing online coaching before I took OTA, before the OTA specifically was a thing. 1K Extra was already out there and all that stuff. I hadn't run into.
What does OTA stand for, and what's
Online
on the
Trainer Academy
advertisement? And what's on the paper for the advertisement?
I don't have my paper, but I think it says something like learn how to coach clients intelligently and profitably. With the Online Trainer Academy It's been here since 2013, something to that effect. I
And
know
but you
it's
should get a new paper.
onlinetrader.com/OTA. I need to get my paper.
We're going
It's-
to send you a letter in the mail every single day. It's going to be like Harry Potter. We're just going to keep sending birds with letters, like just plug in your mailbox over and over and over again until you use the damn thing.
What's that at the window? It's the podcast pigeon with today's letter. Open the door. Dumbledore. Get the window. It's the podcast pigeon. In any case, that's all of my Harry Potter knowledge, by the way.
I love that we got downgraded from an owl to a pigeon.
Yeah, we're a pigeon. Yeah, they got. And let's be real here, Amber. An owl is much too sophisticated of a bird to be associated with this show.
We don't have that kind of cash, okay?
We're pushing it with pigeon. It's more like like parakeet, pet store parakeet. Those things don't even fly most of the time. But what I was saying about PayPal in my case was that PayPal established me a line of credit, after a year of working with them. Mm-hmm. They also established the opportunity for a loan up to $10,000, I think, without checking credit, just because I had established history of taking payments through PayPal. Now, that wasn't the reason I selected PayPal, but there's a benefit in simplicity. Like, I just didn't try to overthink it. I was like, people know what PayPal is. Most people don't know what online training is at the point that I was doing it, 2014. Like, you couldn't Google online training and get like 65 coaches with Lamborghini doors up. Like, I was really digging to figure out how do I find it. Jonathan didn't come up. I guess his marketing wasn't at that level at that time. He didn't have any SEO, so I didn't find out who he was until I started with John Berardi. He mentioned Personal Training Development Center, and then I stumbled into this mess that I'm in now. But I said all that to say, keeping it simple can be very, very helpful. But let's get on topic, because there is an actual topic. So what parts kettle? And somebody asked me why I keep calling you kettle.
Yes.
An OTA student asked me that today. Yeah, it's like, why do you say kettle when I was like, it's Carol, it's CARO, but the R, it's a hard R in the language,
because when the information she spits is so hot it boils.
That's right. The information is piping hot info. We call her kettle.
Oh God!
Amongst ourselves, we call her MC Kettle. MC Kettle, spit a hot 16 for the peeps, huh? Spit it out, yo. So Carolina.
Yes.
So what do we need to do with the client? Jonathan said it, but what's the basics of what we need to do when we're interacting with a client? Like, if we're building a business, like, there's only a couple of things we need to do. In your mind, what are those things?
Communicate is the basis.
That makes sense.
Mean of communication is either email or text. Both are free. So totally easy, accessible. So communicate. Receive payment, which I'm with you. I use PayPal. I love it because everybody knows it and everybody trusts it.
It's easy.
So that's one less barrier of entry.
I love that you brought that up. I love that you brought that up, Catalina. That's great.
It's just boiling hot information.
Yes, let's talk about it.
Boiling hot information.
Sizzling. It's got my screen sizzling.
Okay, stop it. Talk about it. Tell us, Jonathan.
It's induction stove Catalina boiling over.
What's the word for microwave in Spanish?
Microondas.
Okay, that's what you are. You're the microondas.
I think you just made that up.
It sounded
my made-up language.
Sounded random.
You work so hard. It is so much effort to get to the point where somebody on the internet is like, I'm going to give you money.
Right.
You do not want anything at that 1 yard line to trip you up.
Yes.
And
that's so
using
true.
a unrecognizable I mean, using anything that could give anybody any reason to think for even a split second again about their decision is something you want to avoid. That reason alone, like, I don't like PayPal at all. I've lost a tremendous amount of money to not payment processing fees, but to currency transfer fees, because they just rip you off like crazy on that, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I still use them. We offer them, so we use a combination of Stripe and PayPal on our company just because we want to accept credit cards too. You can accept credit cards with PayPal, but we use both, and that's more complicated than I think most people need. But the reality of it is, I use them because they're trusted internationally.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Everybody knows the name.
That is worth a few percentage points in business.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, you're some avatar across the ocean, in a circle on a picture, saying, "Yes, send me a couple of $100."
Right.
Yeah.
And again, when most of us started doing this, like, online training is a thing now. Like, we can confidently say pretty much everybody that knows about personal training or has thought about getting a coach, they pretty much all know that online training is a thing now. Like, the pandemic started that. 2015, 14, 13, people are like, how do you do that on the internet? Like, I don't understand it. Well, I'm going to coach you, but I don't get it. Like, how does it work on the internet? It can't work on the internet. How do you coach me when you're not here? So there were a lot more obstacles then. Actually, I'm thankful for those obstacles, but there were a lot more obstacles then to now, your next door neighbor's an online coach now. Like, you throw a rock in any group of people and you'll hit 2 online coaches, or 2 online business coaches, probably 5 with 1 rock. It's very, very commonplace, but I love that reduces the friction of interacting with somebody. So Keto said we got to communicate, and she said we got to take a payment, and then there's the actual sort of the workout, right?
Yes.
Like,
and the workout for me can be as simple as YouTube videos that aren't even yours or your image. You don't even need to remember. We talked about this. Amber has a rule that she tells people, like, you're actually forbidden from going down that path of trying to record your own videos unless you have like a very established, set base of clients ongoing. You're no longer struggling. Because before you're at that point, it's a distraction. Like, who are you kidding? Like, nobody really cares about you specifically that much. Like, and we said, like, make it fun, like, make it people that are relatable to your clients, or people that, are attractive to your clients, alluring in some, right? It's like, why not? I like to see hot guys on my screen working out every once in a while. Like, I'm okay with the objectification of men every now and again.
Thank you so much for that, Kevin. The way you hold space for people is just otherworldly.
I'm nothing if not honest, Ren.
Right. You're just a giver, Keto. You're just so concerned. You're so empathetic. Jonathan, can you speak to that? We've heard your voice on this issue, but we could always hear it again. Like, how fundamentally is it important that I stow away for the next 6 months of my life? Get in peak physical condition, find a matching bottom and top for my workout outfit, buy myself a $5,000 DSLR, some studio space, and just really bang out thousands of videos. Because obviously I cannot be successful online without that. Right? I know that's your opinion on this. Like, you need a $10,000 budget to record your own videos, or else you're just not going to be successful. I read that in chapter 3 in the book. Correct.
One of his 11 books.
Yeah, I mean, I've come to this level of awareness now that Carolina has been objectifying me as a man this entire time.
He never made it past that point.
I have been around you. I have been around you without my shirt on, Carolina, and I need you to simmer down. I know you've been boiling over this entire time.
Oh,
It's the simmer down section of the
I
show.
need you to turn that induction stove down to simmer. And
Oh man.
oh, God.
Oh man. MC Kettle Pot, simmer down.
Yeah.
But I mean, in all seriousness, like, this is a colossal waste of your energy early
Yes.
on.
yes.
It just
And
doesn't
here's
matter.
the funniest thing about it is like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Your videos are not going to be anywhere close to as good as stuff you can find on YouTube anyway.
Pretty much.
100%.
And it's already there. And again, it goes back to, I mean, in the Online Trainer Academy, we have 2 driving principles, right? That goes through the entire program, start to finish, and we communicate them in Chapter 1, Module 1. And the second one is, how would this look like if it were easy? No matter what you do, because we know you're going to always second guess. You know that you're going to compare. We know that you're going to think about all of these things and think that you have to do all of these things. Always ask yourself, how would this look like if it were easy? Go back to first principles. What do you really need right now? Is your own video library where you have your own custom videos, where you shave for the first time in every 3 weeks, and you're going to put them on the internet so you can be objectified by Latino women in Canada.
Obviously.
Like, is that really important right now for you to do? Right? And versus the 3 things that you need to do right now. Like, if you're sitting there and you're like, I need to get my first few clients, or I mean, if you're sitting there and saying, okay, I'm working another job, or I'm working a job in the fitness industry and I'm kind of stuck and I need to get out of it, and I feel like online training could be it. Or if you're sitting there and you're like, I've tried this online training thing a little bit, it's gone okay, maybe I've gotten a few clients, maybe I haven't gotten any clients, but I've invested in a bunch of programs and still haven't got any success, and I don't know where that like stopping point is, you know. If you're in either of those 2 points and you're anywhere before you're at, like, I would say 20 consistent online clients, like maybe even 30, you need 3 things right now. You need a way to take money.
Right.
You need a way to deliver a program that probably doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
Right. Because you don't want to be paying 40, even $100 a month for software before you're taking in a bunch of money. Maybe at one point that's something that you do, but like, you don't want to be doing that. Like, so, and you already have tools on your phone for free that do a way better job chatting, messaging, calling, leaving voice messages than anything that any of these software programs do. And here's the kicker. Your clients are already comfortable using those and not comfortable using software. So the first thing that you want to do when you're delivering a service is ask yourself, for the people I'm delivering this service to, how can I make this the most natural experience for them? How can I remove as many roadblocks? Okay, to train with me, first client ever, you need to go download this app onto your phone. You need to navigate it and figure out how to use that app. I'm only going to communicate with you through the chat on that app, and we're going to change your entire way of communicating. In order, like, why create that barrier?
Yeah,
Right?
it
They
makes
already
no
use
sense.
WhatsApp. They already use Facebook Message. Like, whatever it is. I'm not saying that that's perfect. I'm not saying that that's the most efficient. But the reality of it is, you do it the easiest way possible to get started, right? You don't need to adopt new technology. You already have better technology than any of the new technologies that you adopt that you're already comfortable using. Like, literally, if you're listening to this podcast, you already use better technology than any communication method in any online training software platforms that exist right now.
Yeah. And another thing too is that you got to remember that when you're starting your career in online training, the act of online coaching one client is an entire new experience for you. The last thing that you want is to add into the mix technology and software that you are going to be having to troubleshoot for, when something doesn't work or when they don't understand, they can't figure it out, and you can't either, you're screwed, because frustration and like what Ren experienced with going to the new dentist, and they're sending him different forms and try this, no, try that, no, we need this again. It's like, man, really? So just save yourself all that crap. Save it.
Yeah. And
All
I
I
need
wanna
my
do-
teeth. I need my
All
teeth.
I want to
so-
do is lie down on my back on a surprisingly comfortable chair,
It was ridiculously comfortable.
insanely oversized yellow sunglasses,
Mine were
watching
purple.
the same news stations repeat on a TV on the top, while some man I don't know tells me to floss for the 500th goddamn time, and somebody else I don't know literally pokes holes in my mouth.
Pretty much. That was my experience. Except it was ESPN and my glasses were purple. And you think about it, like, I like to eat, so I need my teeth. You know, your clients don't have the same need attached, you know, to potentially working with you as a, you know, in terms of you being a coach. Like, I'm pretty attached to my teeth. And I was frustrated to the point where I nearly canceled my appointment today. You know, just by virtue of the fact that everything was so complex. And they could have done it a lot simpler. Like, literally, they could have just had one of the front desk people call and say, hey, Mr. Jones, I'm calling about your dental appointment tomorrow at 8:30. I need to get some information. You know, what's your blah, blah, blah? What's your credit card? What's your insurance? Hey, we've got you set for tomorrow. Talk to you soon. The phone that I already used. Instead, I got 2 or 3 emails. I got no less than 6 to 8 text messages. I was sent to several links to fill out information, you know, and it really could have been concise. Like, they really could have shrunk that all down to one simple 10-minute phone call. And I'd have been all set and much less frustrated. So there is something to be said for the ease of simplicity.
So also, like, we got to remember, like, honestly, like, automation works when it works.
When it works.
Like, really, like, if automation is adding steps and adding confusion to your process, then it's not, you're not there yet. You're not getting it right, and chuck it and go back to basics. Like Ren says, the phone call, like, it's okay.
Well, and the reality of it is, as somebody who has set up a tremendous amount of automations over the past 10 years, like, I'm the type of guy who, like, my favorite thing in the world is loading the dishwasher and setting it and leaving, knowing that the dishwasher is doing work for me.
Magically doing what it needs to do. Exactly. It's the best feeling.
Like I live for that feeling. So you can imagine what I've done with automations. I mean, I've done a tremendous amount. We have, like, tens of thousands of emails that go out in automations to tens of thousands of people every single day. And this is not like our broadcast stuff. We're communicating about programs. We're adding value. We're doing, like I love setting up this stuff. But here's one thing that I've learned about automations. Again, if you are not an expert and don't have a deep understanding about what you want to accomplish, the worst mistake you can make is to spend a lot of time setting up an automation. Because an automation is only as effective as the quality of the inputs and the quality of the strategy of the automation. And if you don't really know deeply exactly what you want to achieve and understand all of the different ramifications, all of the if-then statements, then it can actually be a really, really big problem, because these systems now are so powerful that they could be sending messages to people that are completely contradictory. They could be sending stuff to the wrong people. They could be sending way too many messages to people. I mean, I've fallen into all of these traps. Like, and you don't even know. You don't even know. And you don't need any of it, because you have a better communication tool for free that you already use on your phone that you spent way too much money on already, because the fact that phones cost as much as they do is insane, but that you've already spent way too much money on. you should start with that. Once you got 50 or 100 clients, then you can talk to me about automations. Right?
It's time to do it at that point. It seems like I've not heard the train go by, but I know that we're coming up on our train of thought's not gone by, but in a minute, the 2 o'clock will be coming through in a second. And it always does. So I hope that you guys that are listening have been able to come to an understanding. You know, we sort of spoken on this topic more than once, and part of the reason that we repeat it is because the foolishness persists in the online training community. Like, you know, I get people every day asking me about click funnels and things. You know, how can I automate this process? I'm like, well, how many clients you got? Well, I got 3. Well, you don't need to automate any processes, bro. Like, you need to meet some more people. Like, you should be talking to people right now. Like, you're skipping steps. I don't know why it's so alluring, and I think it has something to do with the how prevalent it is that the coaches, the business coaches on social media are telling people how they've got this process that's going to simplify everything. If you got nobody to talk to yet, you know, you don't want to choo-choo, the train's coming. You don't want to get into that. But in any case, hope this simplifies things for you. Like, the simplest typically is best. I think it was a young Leonardo da Vinci who said simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. I believe that.
Yeah, that was we had a conversation about that over dinner, actually.
You and I did? Because
No. Who'd you say it was by?
Da Vinci.
Oh! I thought you said okay, that's fine. I thought you said somebody else.
Never mind. He's out of it. Ignore him, Ren. I gotta go. I have another meeting. I do have to run.
We've all got to go. Hey, thanks for tuning into the Online Trainer Show episode, whatever this is. Podcast show notes can be found at onlinetrainer.com/podcast, and we'll see you next time on the Online Trainer Show. Jingle, jingle, jingle.
MC Catalina.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show.
We shouldn't have a podcast.